ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another BJ&Co Rail Nation video. Today we're going to take a look at what you need to do when you first get into game and kind of your priorities for Era 1, which is the first of the 6 eras in the game. So we want to get you off on a good foot, know what you're doing so you can compete well with everybody else that's in there. You don't want to feel like you're lagging behind or anything like that. So the first thing with that, when you join in, you want to find a world that's in Era 1. If you start in later eras, you'll definitely feel like you're on your back foot because while the game does give you some boosts to catch up in terms of research and some infrastructure, you got a long way to build to catch up to those that are strongly competitive. So you want to start at the beginning, right? Make it easy on yourself. And try to find one that's as close to day 1 of Era 1 as possible. This one that I just found was day 1 or day 5 of Era 1, which is not too bad at all. If we look, not corporation. Shows how well I know this game. If we look in the stats right now, our first place guy's at 5,600, and if we look at his trains, we'll see he should be running 7 trains, and they're probably all Falcons by now. Oh, and he's got the bonus engine, so that's not too shabby at all. But that's not bad. That's where you'll be by the end of Era 1. So for us, that's 5 days in. That guy's 5 days in, and he's already there. We still have another 9 days. We'll easily catch up to that. No problem whatsoever. So, when you first get in here, there will be Elijah T. Dalton will give you all sorts of tutorials. Best thing to do, just walk through them first. They'll kind of walk you through the basics of the game, how to build things, how to schedule trains, that sort of thing. But they also give you some nice benefits. You see, I've already got 27 gold that I didn't have to pay for, which is awesome. Free gold, gotta love the tutorials. And some decent cash to play around with. I literally just started this before I started recording and only did the tutorials. So once you're done the tutorials, you should have 3 trains running, 2 different areas. Where they're going is not super important right now. And then in your train station, you'll notice a couple buildings have been leveled up. Engine Shed 3, Track Productions 2, Banks 2, Restaurants 2. So now, here's where we talk about where to focus. What you want to be doing next is getting your engine shed up as quick as possible. This is a train simulator. How do you think you make the most money? Yeah, you need trains. They will be your best source of income throughout the entire game. So for this, the focus on your engine shed, and then the next best thing is you want to focus on your lab. Getting your lab up means that you can, in your research more trains, which means you're going to get the better trains. Because, of course, the first train is not great. 2 cars, 50 kilometers an hour. Woot, woot, woot. By researching, we can get to better ones. Ooh, this is 70 kilometers an hour, but 3 trains, that's even better. Donkey is 50, but 5 trains. What we're looking for is we want to hit this Falcon. And basically, my suggestion to you, there are some different trains of thought as to what it is, but for starting the game, the most reliable engine for you right off the bat is going to be the Falcon. It takes a few to get to it, and I would suggest as you level up, replacing a couple along the way. But bum rush for the Falcon. So in order to research efficiently, you don't want to upgrade everything. The Swallow here, the first train, I was given fully researched. So you might get some of that. But when you start researching forward, just follow the solid lines to get to where you're going. So Raven, I'm going to be putting my stuff into the deep inner firebox. That will be my next point of research. And as I get research points, I'm going to keep following the solid lines. In terms of what engines to buy, I tend to not switch many out until I get to Falcon. I just don't see a huge benefit, and a lot of these, comparatively, and I might do some comparison videos at some point, are fairly good. The Swallow, even though it's 20 kilometers an hour slower, its acceleration is 6 higher than the Raven. And by going through, you can upgrade the large steel dome, which gives you 1 additional wagon. So you 3 wagons, and it's slightly more reliable, and it's cheaper for you to buy. So I tend to run Swallow about until the Rhino, and then I don't typically swap out, but at that point I'll probably get, engine 5, 6, 7 around that point, and then I buy Rhinos instead. Just to up my production. I just feel the 70,000 doesn't necessarily come back when I'm bum rushing the Falcon. And then So once you get to the Falcon, fully unlock it, and then unlock all of this. And that you want to have all of your Falcons running 4 wagons. It's by far the best train at this point. Its acceleration's 15, which is the highest of all trains of this era. Its max speed is 140 kilometers an hour, again max. The only thing it's less in is, in terms of cars, it can run 1 less than the mole fully, one less than the mole and 3 less than the donkey. But the donkey's a third the speed, so it's not at all worth it, the extra cars. So Bomb Rush the Falcon, once you've fully upgraded this, continue on, and if you can, you have to follow all these bold lines, so unlock everything after it and get the screw coupling. Now the nice thing about the screw coupling is once the Era 2 starts, you will then be able to use your Era 1 Falcons to transport Era 2 goods. It's important if your city, well, if you want to do Era 2 goods, you're going to have to do it. If your city is leveling decently, you're definitely going to need the screw coupling because you'll be on Era 2 goods right away. So in terms of research, Falcon, screw coupling. Buildings, like I said, you want to be doing the engine house and the lab. Engine house, the max level you can get is 7 in this era, but you can already see next to 5 is $200,000. So that's going to be expensive for me. I've got 20 right now, and it'll take me 3+ days right now to get there. So that's a little intense. But if I buy another engine, if I'm running the proper routes, I can get there in decent time. So engine shed, lab. Lab is important to generate more research points. You will not get screw coupling if you have a lab level 1. My suggestion is usually by the end of the era, usually I get it to about 6 or 7 quickly. And then after that, usually by the end of the era, I like to be at about lab 8 or 9, because that'll guarantee that I have the screw coupling unlocked and that I'm just set for the next era to get the engines quicker. The other thing you want to focus on is your bank. Your bank increases your limit. Right now, I'm at 180. I will never be able to upgrade this if my bank doesn't go up. So upgrade it as you need it, and pay attention, right? You're not in this game every day, or well, you should be in the game every day, but you're not in it every hour of every day. So keep in mind how long it's going to take you to fill up, and make sure that you have a bank big enough. Like right now, 20,000, and it's telling me it's going to take almost 3 days. Well, almost 4 days, sorry. So I'll probably be okay overnight without this bank leveled up. But if it said it's going to take 2 hours, I would probably upgrade my bank before I leave, or spend a lot of money, because you don't want the money going to waste. One neat way is if you go into the planning office here, you can actually see if you've had money, your bank full. Of course, when you log in, it's going to show as red, blinking, all sorts of things. But in the turnover here, the bars, you'll see a bar for every hour that you've been running trains. And if it's ever red, it means you've capped and you actually had the opportunity of making money that you didn't that hour. So keep an eye on that for sure. So engine shed, lab, bank. The next one that's important is your track production. Now, the only reason it's important is so that you can connect to what you need to, right? So right now I've got 4 tracks. I'm coal, lumber, grain, cow. Perfect. What our town needs right now is coal, lumber, beautiful, cows, beautiful, boards. I'm not connected to boards. So I should eventually connect here, because typically my most profitable routes will be from our required goods. And you'll notice here, boards, I'm getting $2.24 an hour, or $2.24 a ton, and grain, I'm making $91 a ton. So it's twice as far to get to boards, but it's still, I'm making more than twice the profit of grain to the city. So you want to look at what your most profitable routes are going to be, and take into consideration distance, of course. If you decide to buy the Plus account for the 100 gold, which is like $250 US, there's actually a lovely timetable calculator in the planning office that I'm in Plus right now. Oh, interesting. I must have had to carry over from another server. That will actually allow you to set a route on a whatever's your most profitable route. So right now my lumber's profitable. If I connected to boards, that one might be most profitable. So things to keep in mind there. So, engine house, lab, bank, track production. After that, if those are all to the level you want them to be, then you focus on other stuff. Or if you need to spend some money here and there. In Era 1, I would not worry about the construction yard at all. The build times are so small on this stuff that it's, you might have to leave it overnight one day to build one thing, and not even full overnight, maybe 2 or 3 hours. So don't worry about it yet. Later eras, it's helpful. But when you have the extra funds, spend it there. Don't be spending extra funds when you could be upgrading the engine shed. And same goes for restaurant, shopping center, and hotel. Hotel, don't even touch unless you have a ton of extra money. All you get is the prestige and a little bit of a percentage bonus. Like at level 1, or level 2, it's a 5% bonus to the other buildings, which is not huge. That you're looking at, this for a 5% bonus on this, you'd be at $200 is your bonus. That's not very big. Now, the nice thing about the shopping center and the restaurant is that as time progresses, you get to collect this much money from it. Every hour and a half for the restaurant, and I think every 6 hours for the shopping center. So the restaurant, you make the money faster. That's the one I put into first, and then the shopping center, and then the hotel. But don't upgrade these when you could be upgrading these. It's just delaying the revenue making from your trains, which is by far the most important in this. I cannot stress that enough. I've seen so many people that get these nice and high, but then have 3 trains and fall behind everybody else. Other thing to keep in mind is the station concourse. Don't even touch until later eras, because all you get from it for upgrading it is prestige. Significant prestige compared to some of the other buildings, right? 25 for this, and from the hotel, I think you get, 2. So it is a significant prestige boost, but right off the bat, prestige doesn't matter. You'll get so much more. Like in Era 2, I'm delivering goods on another server, and I'm getting 200 to 300 prestige per day from city deliveries of just one good. So this piddly stuff doesn't matter right now. Put your money elsewhere. That's significant. That's $15,000 that you could be saving up for an engine shed or to buy a new engine. So don't touch it. So that's the priorities for building. When we get to association, find an association or find some people in your city and make an association. They are super beneficial once your newbie status wears off. And the reason I say that is I'm one person. My wait time, as more people pull from an industry, the wait time is going to go up because the load utilization or capacity utilization has gone up. As that goes up, wait time goes up. The only way to get wait time down is to have less people hauling from it, which doesn't work well if that's the good that has to go to the city, or to invest money into it. And you can do that by clicking on it and investments. One person investing, it just decreases the time a little bit. You get a big drop in wait times if you individually have over 50% of the investments in the city, like drop in D's on them does. Or if you and your association have over 50%. You can see in the corporation tab here, the one that's green gets a 50% reduction. So if you have 6 players in an association, you can all put a little bit, 6,000 in, and you'll have 50%, and you'll have that decreased wait time, and all of you guys can haul that good to the city, which will mean you're making more money off the route because it's quicker than with the higher wait times, and it's helping you level the city faster. And leveling the city, I cannot stress enough, is one of the best ways to make money in this game. Because at the first level, the demand is lower. They want less goods, so the money's less. But each time it levels, the base rate for what they'll pay for the good keeps going up. So if boards had, 1,500 at level 4, you'd probably be making 230, 250 per ton, something like that. So as the city levels, you make so much more money. Now, as the demand or the supply of a good gets closer and closer to the demand area, this number goes down. General supply and demand. As more is supplied, the price goes down. However, so you do take a bit of a hit close to the leveling points, but if your cities working together, which you should be, as separate associations, don't fight each other, right? Assign goods to somebody. My BJ&Co is going to haul boards. We're all just focusing on hauling boards. And you know, drop D's on them, your association is just cattle. And John Bull's association, you're just wood, right? And that way you're not fighting investments, because why waste your money early game fighting other people in your city when you're trying to work together to get to the end game? And that's the same for at any point. Why fight people in your city? The only way to win this game is to be in one of the 10 cities that make it to the final. And the easiest way to do that is to work together and push your city to the top. I've worked with some amazing teams in some cities. It's the way to do it, guys. Just trust me on that. So find an association, get in a good association going where you guys are working together for the good of your team and for the good of the city. And that's basically it. That's your priorities for Era 1. As you get things going, you will have money left over. My suggestion, there are city competitions that come up, usually 4 times a day for each city. Grab, if you have extra money, grab extra wagons so that you can, in your entire fleet, I could swap over I think I can haul 6 trains right now, 7 maybe because I've got a Raven. I would grab 7 of each of these. So whenever a competition comes up, and that's only if I have extra money, but when a competition comes up, I can switch all my trains on it, because competitions tend to be first place early on gets you $20,000, which is fairly significant. That's enough to buy four wagons, as well as a little bit of prestige. Like I said, prestige doesn't matter, but it helps. There are also some that get you a free plus account, as well as gold for your account, which can be used to buy lottery tickets, or plus account, or other significant things that we'll talk about in a little bit, and some that give you research points. So lots of great benefits to running the competitions. Find out when they are for your city. You can always look in your planning office under the competitions tab, and it will show you how long until the next one shows up. And so here, yeah, one for 20,000 and one for 20,000 of grain and coal. So, and there will always be something that you can possibly run. They might be something that you're not necessarily connected to, but it will be something that you can run. And there's different levels. As you get close to the end of Era 1 and get a little bit more prestige, you will be running competitions that can be $60,000, $70,000, which is huge, huge. You want to bring the money in. So that's basically, you're playing free to play. That's the way to do it. There is one possible thing that some people do, and that is that they offer a starter package for 125 gold. But this is only available up until 600 prestige. So it's definitely a starter package. If you get too much prestige, you'll jump past this very easily. And this one gives you an extra engine shed level, an extra lab level, a full fill of research points, a bank level, and 2 coal, wood, and grain cards. So that's huge. That is huge, guys. The engine shed level, if you can get it to the max level 7, so if you can pop this when your engine shed's already at level 6, I think it saves you 600,000. Because what do we say? Up to 5 is 200, up to 6 is probably going to be 400. Yeah, it's probably going to save you about $600,000 right there. Your lab level, depending how high it could be very similar. Bank level, same thing. Can't complain about research cards. And this is 30,000 right here that it's saving you. If you're thinking of doing this, you typically get about 27, between 20 and 30 gold from all the tutorial quests if you're saving up where you can. Like, don't buy the most expensive wardrobe thing that you see. Buy the cheapest for the tutorial part. The best way to take advantage of this is wait. Don't collect prestige, right? So don't collect your hotel if you don't need to. Don't redeem any medals. So throughout the tutorials and stuff, you will build up some medals. Don't click on this thing that's shiny and green even though it looks nice. And do not click these things, right? Because that's 10, 20, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95, 135, 235, 275. So I would almost be halfway to that 600 mark just by collecting all the medals that I've already got. So be wary of that, guys. If you're thinking that, and it's 125 gold. You'll have 27. To get 100 more, it costs 275 US. So it's not a big investment, but it can be a huge boost for you. So if you're thinking of doing that, don't collect your medals, don't collect prestige, and definitely, like I said earlier, focus on the engine shed, the lab, and the bank, because those are the 3 that you're going to get the boost from. And I think, actually, if we just take a quick peek over here at my buildings tab, how much would you actually save? 600,000 on, yeah, I was right, 600,000 on the engine house. The lab, if you get it to even level, where am I? If you could get it to level 6 also, right, you would be caught. So you could save over $1 million easy on these buildings. So it's, if you're going to do that, it's worth it. It is so worth it. That's probably the one thing that I usually pick up every time. And a neat thing I like about this game is if you continue playing on the same server once you've beaten endgame, and any gold that you've built up and is on your account that you haven't spent will roll over to the next server start. So you can keep that going. So if you just run all your competitions, get a ton of gold coming in, it's perfect, right? Because then you can just save it over and you'll have it ready for the start of the next one. If you don't spend it in-game, of course, which is always hard not to do. So that's basically it, everybody. One other thing that might be beneficial for you is if you have extra money, think about possibly connecting to another city. It does get expensive with tracks, so only if you have extra money. It's not super important unless there's, say, a group of people that you're trying to get together with in-game and you want to work together for a certain city. Sometimes when you log in, that city's overcrowded, you can't start in that city, and you may need to connect from a close one. Connect to a different city, because then you'll get competitions from LA and from San Diego, or whichever cities you connect to, which will allow you to get, of course, more money and prestige and gold and research points from the different competitions. But it also gives you the option of, when you're not focusing on leveling the city, which happens, there's a max city level each era. In era 1 it's 8. When you hit that, you're running for money. The more routes you have available, the better. If you're connected to 2 cities, it might be getting you more money to run through San Diego for a certain good than all the goods in LA, depending on what the stocks are like. So having some flexibility is nice by the end of the era. Don't prioritize it if you don't have to. It's, again, focus on getting your core infrastructure up, and then the money will flow after that, and you'll be able to do all these fun things I'm talking about. So that's the priorities I have for Era 1. If you think this is useful, smash that like button. It's great to have your support that way if you think it's great. If you want to see more of these Rail Nation videos, I'm going to be talking a little bit about all the different eras, and as we get further on, I'll talk a little bit more in depth about what things you need to specifically be connecting to and that sort of thing. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to catch that stuff. If you have any comments on this, I'd love to hear it down below. Did I get something completely wrong? Is there a reason you should be focusing the station concourse? I don't know. You might know better than I do if you guys are avid players. So I'd love to hear you in the comments below. And yeah, if you're interested in seeing any of our other videos, like I said, you can subscribe, but you can also check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, whatever you fancy, you'll probably find us there. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all next time.